Hi everyone, I'm back with some DIYs today for autumn or Halloween. I've got 3 DIYs. So last year I did do like a pumpkin patch and I wanted to do a different take on it. I did get rid of the box I used last year because it's quite big to store. So I thought I'd use one of these little boxes I have. I chose the white one. And then I found these in a charity shop. I think there was like 4 of them for £1.50 or something. But you can get them in Poundland, I think. And then I did print off this, I printed off this to make a sign with. I just typed it up on the computer and got a picture online of a pumpkin. I did do several different sizes just to make sure it would fit. And I just used a normal glue stick to glue it on with, and that worked. And that was our little pumpkin patch sign. I thought this turned out really good. And like I said, I just used a normal glue stick. And most of the stuff you're going to have lying about that you could use. You don't have to get a little wooden sign like I did. You could just attach this to the box you want to use. But I saw these, I did think it'd make like a perfect little sign. And nothing is glued down again with this, so I can reuse all these bits. And then that will just sit in the little box. And then I am going to pull out a bit of fabric in a minute that you'll probably remember from last year's DIYs if you were here last year. So I just put this around the edge. There wasn't enough for the back, but there was enough for the sides and the front. And I just thought that was very autumny, that fabric, and I really like that. Again, I didn't glue it down, I've just placed it there. And then I'm going to bring out the fake grass again from last year because I can reuse it, I didn't glue it. And I got this from Poundland in the spring. And this is great for autumn, Halloween DIYs, summer DIYs. I've always thought it's going to make a good little graveyard scene. I will try that one day, so I really want to try that. But I did cut it this time just a little bit smaller. But you must be careful with this stuff, it does make a mess. So the back bit, the black backing to this, it leaves loads of black little bits like you can see there, and it looks like little bits of soil or something. So it can get messy, this. And it's not just when you're cutting it, when I've been moving it about and stuff, you get little black bits everywhere. So I just folded this over a bit for like clean lines. I did have to mess around with it just to get it to stay put, fold over. And then I pop that in, then I'll pull back that little corner just to put the sign back in. And as you can see, it's coming together now. You don't even have to use fake grass, you could use green cards, a fabric, anything you want. Or you could just, doesn't even have to be green, you could place any sort of fabric down, put pumpkins or homemade pumpkins down. But as you can see, it is really coming to life now them pumpkins are there, and I really like this. I think I prefer it to last year's one, it's less work, that's for sure. So that is the final DIY. Let me know what you think of it. And then this is DIY number 2. So I got like this polystyrene from one of the canvases I got for Halloween. I was going to throw it and then I thought, I wonder if I can do something with this. So I'm going to turn this into something like a display thing I can put on a shelf. I've seen other YouTubers turn this into a lovely like floral centerpiece type thing for tables and things. So I thought, okay, I don't have lots of floral stuff, but I do have something I can use for this. So I did take a few goes with my little box cutter to sort of cut this enough to what I needed to use it for. So this DIY didn't cost me anything, I already had the bits I had. And as you can see, it took a few goes to get it to do what I needed it to do. So I did spray paint it with this spray paint. Had this for a long time, and I just didn't want to see any red underneath, so I spray painted that. And I had these petals for a long time, so I thought, oh, I can finally do something with them. But I wanted black petals, and I know you can buy black petals, but I wanted to use what I had, and I didn't want to spend out money, so I spray painted them with the spray paint. I did cut a little bit more out of the polystyrene bit that I had. That's why there's some red marks on it. I touched it a bit too soon before it was dry, but that's why most of it is covered. I didn't want, when I stuck these petals on, I did not want to see the red come through, but I think I did a pretty good job of covering it with the petals. I did have to end up spray painting more petals because I didn't have enough. I needed quite a few, but I still didn't use up the whole box. But I think it was coming along quite nicely. What do you think? It did take a while, and this was a really messy DIY with the spray paint. And then I had to do some more petals there, as you can see. I had to wait for them to dry as well. So this was the most messy and time consuming one, I think, especially with the hot glue as well. You could use any other type of glue if you don't have a glue gun, or you could hand paint, or you could just order the black petals, or you can use red or orange, anything like that. But I wanted this to be really Halloween-y. I do have some orange spray paint. I did think about doing the odd petal orange, but I thought I'd stick with the black, and I think it did turn out okay. It was just a very time consuming DIY. But I'm pleased I made use of something I was going to throw away, but because I thought, oh, I've seen this on YouTube, it's given me an idea, so I thought I'd give it a go. So that's it, nearly done. I'm nearly finished. I just got to do that little bit there. Then here it is done. I did stick a couple of petals on the end, but I could have done a little bit of a better job, as you can see. But I thought no one's going to pay too much attention to that. And then here is the finished DIY. So it just clings onto a shelf. I think it looked very nice, styled up with like Halloween-y bits, autumn bits. And then here's the third DIY. I found these apples in B&M. I did find them a few weeks ago. They were a £5, but they had gone down to £2.50. So I thought, oh, I'm going to try some of these. So I've also seen this DIY on YouTube. I thought I'd give it a go. So I pulled out the little stem there from the apple. I got loads of kebab sticks, and I got the burger sticks there. You could use anything like that. I'm going to turn it into like a toffee apple type thing. So you can do it without hot glue, and you can do it with hot glue. I'm going to show you both options. So because I'm doing two different options, I'm going to cut two different sticks down. I've cut one, I'm going to do the other, make it a little bit shorter. I should have used, I've got better scissors than this, but if you cut it a little bit, it's just a cleaner finish when you snap it off, and you can trim it there. You can even sand them if you want them to be that perfect, but those were fine. So like I said, you can either just stick it in like that and it would be fine, it's not going to go anywhere, or you can hot glue it in. So I hot glued one and left the other, and it's just more secure, like if your kids get hold of them. And then I just wiped away the excess glue with my finger there. So I did mine as if they were chocolate apples. So one I hot glued like the running chocolate down it, the melted chocolate, and the other I just painted it on. So I started hot gluing. I didn't do it all, and then I grabbed the stick that I cut off and I sort of smudged it in so it blended in a bit better. Trust the process. It looks a mess, but it works. I shouldn't have done as much. I should have done a tiny bit then blended it in. But you'll see what I mean in a minute. So I finished the other bit. Sorry, there are a few bad angles here. But I did a little more, then smudged it in again until it was completely covered. So it looked like dripping chocolate, or yeah. So it looked like it was dripping all the way around. I got out my paints and then I got the brown for chocolate, and then I should have mixed in just some white to lighten it up, but I mixed in this darker mustard yellow colour to see what colour it would make. I forgot these were brand new paints, so I had to open that one and I just mixed them together to see what colour it would make. I think at this point I wasn't sure I was going to make like a toffee, like caramel apple, but I did make it a chocolate apple. Sorry, like I said, bad angles, but I'm just covering the top part of the apple. I was going to go in with a smaller brush to do the drip marks, but in the end, after I painted the main top bit, I did go in with just this brush to paint the drip marks. I think it looked really good in the end. It is a bit of a slow process waiting for it to dry as well, but it's totally worth it. It didn't take too long. So then once I did this one in brown, I then went on to hand paint the other one. It's just so you can see what it would be like if you didn't have a hot glue gun. But I put sprinkles on it, hand painted sprinkles, just because I thought it would cover up some of that where I spreaded the hot glue. And then when I did that, it looked really good. It did disguise it pretty well. I used orange and pink sprinkles. I think that turned out really great. And then this is the other apple I just did by hand, no hot glue. So you can do it. And then I'm going to do a step in a minute which disguises it even more. You don't have to do that, or you can do that, it's up to you. But I think both turned out pretty good. And this was a total learning curve for me with the hot glue. I've only used it to glue stuff before, not used it for stuff like this. So I think both turned out great. I'm really happy with those, and I'm happy I found them apples in B&M, like for £2.50. Total bargain, because I really wanted to try this DIY. So the next step you don't have to do if you don't want to. But I was going to make it look like it had like cellophane. Is it cellophane? Like the wrap over it. I didn't have any of that. Again, I wanted to use what I had. I didn't want to spend any money. So I used some sandwich bags. I could have used one, but it had that design on one side, so I had to use 2 sandwich bags. So I just needed the back of the bag, the clear bit, so I had to cut all this off. And it really did look great, I thought, afterwards. So here I do use my stronger scissors. So I cut one with the normal scissors and it was a bit more fiddly than it needed to be. So as you can see, it works just as well as getting some wrap for it. And I did have some elastic bands just to keep it together. If you want to, you could just use elastic bands, you could use jute. I use an elastic band to hold it together, then I'll put some ribbon around it. I thought the elastic band would make it a bit easier to tie the ribbon. I did get a little bit of orange paint on this one, a bit annoyed. If you wanted to, if you do get paint on it, you can sand it off. But I thought, no one's really going to care. No one really comes around, so no one's going to see it. Just me that think, I've put paint on there. But I think that looks pretty good. And then I did the same for this. So as you can see, any imperfections are going to be hidden by like sprinkles, like the wrap on them as well. You could use beads for sprinkles as well while the paint is wet. Make it look like hundreds of thousands or sprinkles. But but I didn't have any beads like that, so I thought I'll just quickly paint them on. I think they both turned out great. And like I said, I added some ribbon. I had 2 different ribbons. I had a black and white, like checkered one, and like a really light orangey peached one. And I really love the autumn colours, so I went with this one. It was stuck together though, so a bit of a pain. So I cut off some ribbon, and I cut off the same length for the next one as well, so it looked the same. Now I'm absolutely rubbish at bows, so if you can do a better bow, do a better bow. I just did a very basic bow, then cut off all the excess ribbon that I didn't need, but I wanted to make sure I had enough, because I've done it before where I've cut off too little ribbon and I've had to cut off more. So I'd rather cut off, make it too long than not long enough. As you'll see in a minute as well, the ribbon covers up that elastic band as well. It just makes it easier, so it's less fiddly. But I'm so pleased with how these turned out. I didn't know how they were going to go. I didn't know how well the paint would cover either. But the painting turned out really great. It covered really well. I put it quite thickly on as well, so it did look like chocolate and sprinkles. I think it took about an hour or so to totally dry in the end. But let me know what you thought of these DIYs. Let me know if you're going to try them. They are so easy, and I had most of this stuff. I think the only thing I might have paid for was the apples. I got the signs because I thought, oh, they'd be perfect for that. But I've got extra left over I can use for other projects as well. So yeah, let me know what you think of these and if you're going to try them. But these are things you've got at home. You might have kebab sticks, sandwich bags. You don't have to use an apple. You could anything round and put fabric round it. It doesn't have to be clear and then a ribbon, so it just looks like that. You could do anything. These are things that people could do. It's so easy. So I hope you give them a go. I hope you like them. And these are the finished apples. So pleased with them. Let me know what version you prefer, the glue gun one or the normal one. But I think they turned out really great. And then here's all the DIYs. I was going to say DVDs for a minute. Here's all the DIYs. And don't forget to let me know which one was your favourite. But that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching.